In today's video, we're going to talk about male versus female interests. Welcome back to another video. I'm seeing your mindset masculinity coach and your brother if you want to. Join the community if you want to. Book a one-on-one call and we're going to talk about all of the problems you have. Because what is my mission? What do I do? What is my purpose? I'm going to help men become men again because I think masculinity is a topic that is not that often discussed or talked about. Many people talk about it, but in a wrong way. And I will give you the example in this quick video because I will explain to you what real masculinity is and why we have a big problem in the society we live in right now. I don't talk about if that is a tactic, if that is structure, if that is political. I'm just going to explain the problem to you, and that you are in a society where you got many problems and you will find the reason for you being a nobody, being weak, jerking off, and still very, very unfocused and always in your distractions. Let's get right into the video. Many people talk about books, and I like to get my information from books, from the internet, from talking to people, from talking to other mindset coaches, from talking to or general talk about the masculinity, also feminine side, sometimes with women, about what they think about life. And I know that many people know about the book, The Way of the Superior Man, which many people say is the book for masculine people, is the book for understanding your masculinity. And in this video, I'm just trying to tell you or trying to explain to you that this is not bad, but this is not the way. Because the way is the way of man. I know, good saying. That is a book from Jack Donovan. I'm not going to talk about the authors. I think it's a beautiful book, and I think that you learn everything you need to know about masculinity and why the word is the way it is in that book. Because if we think about the way of the superior man, you understand not the interest, but the relationship between man and woman. You understand how a woman is functioning, why she likes this man more than that man, and you know why or how you should behave with a woman. You learn to understand women more in her feminine ways, what she wants, why she wants that, what you want and why you want that. But you don't really understand why the men are the way they are and why women are the way they are. And that's what I'm going to explain to you in this video. Okay, I'm going to show you two apes right now. If you believe that we are from apes or not, it's not the question. But I'm just going to show you two apes. One of them is the chimpanzees and one of them are the bonobos. And that's what Jack Donovan talks about in his book. He makes a little comparison of these two species to make it more understandable for you why and what male interest and female interest is. And the main big difference between these two apes is that one of them has always resources. Because chimpanzees always fight against gorillas and fight with men for their resources. So they had hunger, they needed to hunt, just like the warriors way back then. It is mainly because of that point right there. Because the bonobos always got food. They got no stress, everything is there. And they don't have to fight and to hunt. I'm going to show you also a picture on how their body looks and the difference between their bodies. Because I think that already shows, just because of the fact that they are not hunting and do not have the hunger, not only physically, but also mentally, that they think, oh shit, I have to make money now, I have to get the food right now. Just for you to understand it, in that where we are right now, we always have food, but some people just have hunger, and hunger is sometimes mentally, 80% of the times mentally. For you thinking you need more is that hunger that they had when they needed food, and the bonobos always had that food. And that's why the females there are the ones who are leading the groups. Let me explain to you how it is with the chimpanzees. They have their gang of men who are fighting and leading and hunting to get to their women's. Everybody knows who they are. They are very structured, and it's always the man leading. And I'm going to show you in comparison how the difference in males and females is in the interests with this example from the apes. So the first thing we have are the resources. And just like I said, the first easy thing is that the bonobos always had everything and the chimpanzees had to fight for it and lead for it. And that's the main point for why they are so different in their interests. The second point is the hunting priority. Just like I said, the male interest is like, we have to hunt, we have to lead, we have to get the food. The female interest isn't like that because they have everything they need. So that's not the big priority. The next thing is the male alliance and the female alliance. So who's leading the way? Just like I said, in the female interest. So for the bonobos, it's always the female leading. And for the chimpanzees, it's the male leading. So we also got that. Now we come to the more interesting points and why the word is how it is and why I talk about this example. Homosexuality is not a thing for male interest. It's not very, very common by the chimps. So homosexuality is not something they talk about or they think about because everybody got their woman. But in the bonobo culture, where the apes got everything and the women are leading and there's the female interest, homosexuality is very common. So fucking around is very common. They also do not care who their mother is. The kids don't know who their father is. The kids are raised with the mother. They are like mommy's boys and they are always with the mother. So this topic is very important because with the chimps, it's like the son knows who their father is. They're hanging around with the male gang. They're learning how to fight, how to hunt, how to lead, how to become the man. It's like very, very from the beginning. They have to show up their ego, and they're also pushing around some female other chimps just to show that they want to get respected as a man. But with the bonobos, it's completely different. I don't know who my father is. I love my mother. I do everything for my mother. And they're also sharing their partner. So the females in the bonobo groups are fucking everybody. They're having sex with everybody and they don't care because they're leading. The big difference is that the female interest is that they have sex for fun and pleasure. And the male interest is that they have sex to reproduce and get more kids. And something the author also wrote about in the book was, as a metaphor for what happens to men living in a secure peace of plenty like our own, the bonobo way looks familiar. Aren't the most men today spoiled mama boys without father figures, without hunting or fighting or brother bonds, whose only masculine outlet is promiscuous sex? And if you think about the book, The Way of the Superior Man, the only thing we ever talk about, or the main thing about that book, is the relationship between a man and woman, and especially the sexual energies. And if you look up the other books that author has written, it is always about the relationship and the sex. And that's what happens when we have everything. So what do I want to talk about in the video? What is the message for you? I want to show that I'm so fucking smart. No, it is not about that. It is for you to understand that if you want to become masculine, if you want to become that real man with a sculpture like a man, I mean, you saw the difference. And if you really want to achieve something in this life, and if you have hunger, you need hunger. You don't need to be broke, because if you have good resources and everything is okay, that's not the problem. You have to put yourself in a situation where you have hunger. So fast in the morning, go to the gym, study, learn, read, find something new. That's why I like to eat 1 or 2 meals a day. So I'm hungry in the morning. I'm aggressive. I drink my coffee. You know, I'm energetic. And that's what you want to achieve, that state of I'm hungry. Because only when you're hungry, you fight for something. And I think that's where they give us everything, the distractions, the food. That's where they put so much shit in the food. That's why they give you Netflix. That's why they give you porn. Because before all of that half-naked woman you see with one click, you have to fight for the woman. And that's where you had hunger. You had to fight for your food. You had to fight for your money. You had to go jobs that are very hardworking. You had to put your body in motion. Nowadays, it's an exercise to walk 10,000 steps. That's normal, brother. That's not an exercise. Go to the gym, push some heavy weights, run, cardio, talk to women on the outside, fuck your phone, create content, don't consume content. After the video, do 10 push-ups, do something. Put your fucking whole life in a hunger situation so you're always hungry. That's why even if I would be the richest man alive, I would try to put myself in a situation where I still have hunger to be more, to grind more. That's why you see most of the successful sports athletes still in an environment where they train, where their training looks like they're not that rich, where they're sometimes training in the hood because they need that hunger again. That's why some rich people always go back to where they come from, to see where they come from. You need your hunger. You need hunger. So I hope you understood in this video what I mean with that male versus female interest. I did not even go into the feminist masculinity topic. I don't even go into everything is planned. I don't even want to talk bad about females. I don't say that females are just thinking about sex, or if they have everything is unorganized. I don't want to talk about that. I don't say that. I just read something about 2 apes, and you can do your shit with it. Become the best version of yourself. Write something in the comments, and if you want to talk about that topic with me, let's do that.